Nimona the movie plot. That day out of the darkness a little girl wrote "dumb" on a poster about Glorith. The girl's attention was then diverted to see the news about the Ballister who had killed the queen and was still out there. Everyone gets scared. All the negative news is for the Ballister. He is considered a monster, considered vile, and a commoner who doesn't deserve to have a place in the kingdom. The girl saw all the negative news and smiled in satisfaction. The Ballister was a perfect target. That night alone in his hideout, Ballister is working on a prosthetic arm, almost finished, and Ballister snaps the prosthetic arm onto his arm, and it works splendidly. Someone suddenly knocked on the door and startled the Ballister. On alert mode, Ballister heads for the door, sneaks up and opens the door and is ready to attack. However, when the door was opened, Ballister found no one there. Ballister closed the door again. That was weird. But Ballister was very surprised by the presence of a child who called him, "Hey boss." Ballister asks who is that little girl? Where did it come from? The girl tells that her name is Nimona. Nimona is very active in touching all of the Ballister's equipment. Nimona also laughed mockingly when the Ballister called her little girl. Nimona came to the Ballister to apply for a job. She had even made a job application letter with pictures of herself and her goals. Ballister was even more confused by Nimona's sudden presence. The little girl was moving and changing places quickly. Nimona wants to become an accomplice to the Ballister, helping the man seek revenge on the cruel world that has rejected him. Nimona wants to plunder the village, then hide until the humans forget and she will rise again to overthrow the government. Ballister screams that he is not a criminal like Nimona and the people outside think. Nimona is disappointed. Actually, the Ballister needs help to catch the real queen killer. Even though he needs help, the Ballister doesn't need help from Nimona. He will move on his own and won't be caught. It should be, but in fact Ballister was caught and put in jail. Inside the prison, the rector meets the Ballister. Despite pleading with the rector that he wasn't the Queen Slayer, the Ballister doesn't even know how it all happened. But the rector no longer believed in the Ballister. The rector and everyone saw what happened. The rector felt so stupid to trust someone like the Ballister. Ballister was very saddened by all the things that had happened to him. In the midst of that sadness and solitude, Ballister was again surprised by the presence of Nimona. How could this little girl get into the royal prison which was heavily guarded? Nimona knows exactly how the Ballister feels. No matter how good the Ballister tries to be good, people will still think the Ballister is a killer. Nimona hands over the Ballister's prosthetic hand. And easily Nimona broke the prison lock so that the Ballister could get out freely. And Nimona will help the Ballister escape from the pursuit of the guards. Ballister met Ambrose. From Ambrosius's gaze the Ballister knew that his friend had believed that the Ballister had killed the queen. It's sad, but the Ballister must escape the people who are hunting him. Suddenly Nimona transforms into a rhinoceros and attacks all the soldiers. Ballister was also terrified of how it was possible for the little girl to turn into a rhinoceros, then transform into several types of animals. The last Nimona turned into a very large whale and destroyed all the palace buildings. Then he turned into a rhinoceros again and broke the royal wall until it was damaged, so that Nimona and Ballister came out of the palace and were free from the pursuit of the palace soldiers. Nimona laughed when she saw how the empire building exploded. They won, and it was really cool. Meanwhile the Ballister fainted.